Okay, I'll start with that was a beautiful football game, really by both teams. I thought going back and forth, competing, obviously into double overtime. Appreciate the crowd. I thought it made a difference. That was an electric atmosphere. Student sections, yes, but the whole place. It was a beautiful football game, and it was a beautiful locker room after that. Really proud of the guys to just continue to fight and find a way, and especially I think about the second half coming out and getting that early score, get some momentum going. But they played well too. I thought both quarterbacks played really, really well tonight. And it came down to us getting a stop on a 2-point conversion and us executing to finish the deal. So really proud of the guys.
Armorian Smith's story to have that breakup on the 2-point conversion, for him to have the game he had a few other big plays. What does that mean to you to see a player achieve like that?
Yeah, it means a lot, especially for that guy. The quality man that he is. Effort, football means a lot to him, and I think he was a part of that early fumble recovery, and then to have the breakup on the 2-point play, it's just awesome.
Jonathan, one of the themes from your players in here talking was that this is a game that last year's team probably wouldn't have won. I'm wondering, what is the trait or quality that's either stronger or is here now that maybe wasn't a year ago that allows that thing to happen, and for them to feel that way, that this is an outcome that wouldn't have happened?
Yeah, I think there's been growth. There's a closeness, a bond that we got to do this thing together. Experience, we've got some more experience. I mean, I go back to playing these guys last year. That experience, we need to learn from every game and that kind of thing. But I do think the confidence grew offensively in the second half that you could continue to go. And again, the defense holding them to 6. I think there was some confidence there, and these guys are aware. These are long football games. There's going to be momentum swings going back and forth. Just really proud of the toughness they showed for more than 60 minutes.
Coach, what does it mean just this last season? You always would find yourself in positions where good first half might not be able to close games like these, but today, finally all pieced together and you got the victory. What does that mean?
Yeah, I think it's a step forward. You found a way to win it like this. Again, this is game 2. We're hoping to play a lot more games beyond just 12 type thing, and so it's early. But again, we talked about confidence can come from displayed performance, and these guys did it tonight, and hopefully their confidence continues to grow from it.
Jonathan, I know you've only been here a year and 10 minutes, but I got to believe that would be your finest moment as a coach here. And what was it like to see your players celebrate like that after a win like that?
Really, yeah, that was meaningful for them to battle that thing out, get into that locker room, the hugs going around, accomplishment at home. To win a game like that is big, and we've got to take advantage of it now and grow from it. But was really just happy for this, because there's a lot of players in that locker room been working now, and it hasn't always gone their way. But it came together tonight, and I think we're going to grow stronger from it.
I think I heard Nick Marsh say he told you were one of the coaches, I'm one-on-one, give me the damn ball. You okay with that?
I think if that's the case, he's probably right, if it's one-on-one. And Nick's a competitor. I thought that was huge. Talking about his first touchdown, he's carrying guys into the end zone on slant like that. He is a competitive kid, talented. And so, yeah, we got to continue to find ways to get him the ball. I do like the fact we spread the ball out pretty well tonight, multiple guys touching it, and that helps an offense.
Jonathan, I was wondering, you go into the halftime taking the knee, fans are booing because, obviously, the way it goes. How big was it to come out of the second half and score, kind of get a little bit of that momentum back and feel like you're more in the game a little?
Yeah, it was big. And that was some of the logic at the end of the half, is that we were going to start kind of with the ball. But we needed to regroup, put together, and execute it on the first drive, going to Nick on a deep ball and things. It's a 7-point game. At that point, we didn't know we had a field goal kicker that bang things through at 50 yards. But obviously, I'm always learning too out there on the field. Martin was huge.
Jonathan, over here, how do you have a sense now after playing these guys and just how good you are in certain areas and where you're concerned? I mean, you talk about the kicker. That's something I think a lot of people found out about. Defensively, you don't maybe get to the quarterback, and he has a good game. Childs has maybe his best. What do you know about this team? Can you kind of...
I think it's starting to grow a little bit more of the capabilities offensively, especially in that second half. You're right on. I did think the quarterback played really well. We got to find ways to make him more uncomfortable. We got to get better. in all three phases. Talked about the run game. We had some good stuff there, but we got to clean up our hands. We're going backwards on some penalties and things. We gave him a drive. It's 3rd and 12. We hit the quarterback, extended that. That turns into 7. I mean, so you're always learning, and there's things that we got to continue to get better at, clean up. But once we've displayed that we can do some things, your confidence level should go up in us being able to do some things.
I'm wondering about your quarterback. What you saw from Aiden, at the end of regulation, he gets hit again and goes down. What were those conversations like on the sideline? And was there any conversation about whether he would go back in, or did he just tell you he was going back in?
No, I mean, he goes down. He's out there. Obviously, the training staff is taking care of him. We're having conversations. I think you saw Alessio. He was out there getting a couple of snaps, being, if he needed to be ready, and then it turned into the overtime. And he was up in the huddle, and there was no other conversation to be made.
Did you know this toughness was there with him, or did you
I do. I think the kid's really tough. I mean, mentally, all he does, how competitive he is out there. He's running, giving so much effort, extending it outside the pocket, putting his foot in the ground. I know the kid's tough.
Jonathan, you've talked about football being a game of imperfection. The fact your team had resiliency today, what does that mean to a team moving through the season? And what does it mean when you get unsung heroes, maybe guys like Alante Brown and
huge.
Connington coming in today?
Yep, yeah, a bunch of names. Alante on the kickoff return a couple of times. That was massive. I do think the resilience and then the genuine belief, true genuine belief as this game goes on, then knowing that we can still win the thing in the fourth quarter. Hopefully we've learned and gained confidence and we can do that.
Now, does that help you going through a season now? That
Yeah, it's going to be, because there's going to be a bunch of games that are competitive like this. We know what kind of conference we're playing in, and these games are going to be competitive.
Jonathan, can you give us some insight on your mindset, the psychology when you're leading your team into the half, when they're down, and what things were said or what kind of emotions took place to give you that kind of output when you came right back out?
Yeah, I think the staff did a good job. We needed to regroup. I mean, at halftime, offensively, we needed more snaps. We needed to stay on the field, and then vice versa. Defensively, we need to get off the field on 3rd down and stuff, and that's why halftime's important to regroup, readjust. Coaches made some nice adjustments, got the group, and these guys aren't in panic mode at halftime. There's definite frustration, but not panic mode.
Can you talk about how tough it was to stop Boston College's pass attack tonight and what Michigan State tried to do to make adjustments as you went?
Yeah, they challenge you schematically too, because they're flooding the boundary some of the times that you don't get a lot of people doing that. Again, I think the quarterback, besides being accurate, he could go through a progression. He's not just throwing it to the first guy. He's going through multiple reads. I think 11's a really good player. Tight end caught the ball. He's a good player. Throw that along in with a coaching staff schematically. Those guys are really good. So all of that challenged us. I know on our end, we did miscommunicate a couple of times. You want the crowd into it. You want it to be nice and loud on 3rd down. Well, we weren't on the same page a couple of times, which we got to make sure that don't happen.
I'm wondering, you mentioned about the miscommunications. It seemed like the 2 touchdowns early, there was some issues with
100%.
Jordan. And is that just relaying the message? And I'm wondering about the atonement that he showed throughout the game, and then as well as Stanton, who had a couple holding penalties, had a couple missed assignments, but then you're running over him to basically get Aiden and Frazier down there.
Yeah, I think Jordan does a great job of communicating, but we got to make sure that all the other 10 guys got their eyes locked in on him on that call. We just didn't follow what he was communicating, I'll say it that way, without watching the tape deeply, and I'll get back to you on Monday on some of that. But on Stanton's end, too, the guy continues to battle that whole front. And again, we rotated multiple guys in the game again, but they no back down, no let down, man.
I'm curious the difference between this defense when Malik is out there and that little spell when he was out with the injury or whatever he was dealing with in that first half. How big of a key is he to this defense?
He's a pretty big piece. He is a good player, experienced out there. So yes, he's one of our better players on defense. And so again, we miss him when he's out there. But again, next man, that's got to be able to get him. And we had some of that. We'll watch this tape, but I thought Justin had some good snaps. Cromwell got out there, but we definitely miss Malik when he's not in.
Jonathan, right here in the middle, we've discovered a lot of big weapons on this team. Why is the biggest one Ryan Eckley, and how good is his short game?
Yeah, I know. It's phenomenal because they were giving me a little bit of grief. I think it was about fourth and a yard and a half, maybe. offensively, they wanted to go do this thing. Well, this guy bombs it 60 yards, puts the thing into the 16, totally flips the field, and that's a weapon in this day and age to have that. I don't exactly know how he's got this technique where the thing just sits and doesn't continue to go into the end zone, but he's got it.
Coach, talk about Jay Cohen's play, and he sat up there and confidently said that from watching it on film and from running in practice that it was going to work. And you're an offensive guy, talk about, did you have that same feeling when it was being run?
Well, you're calling it in a tight situation, whether you're in a tight red zone or short yardage, third and one type thing. I do love that kid in regards to how hard he works. He's helping us a ton on kickoff, and now he's growing his role being the fullback, putting his face on guys, making it physical, and then all of a sudden he's been doing that, and then you slip him into the flat. It's an effective play, so I was happy for him. Thanks, guys.